Heather, founder of The Life of O'Reilly, and this is Behind the Seams, a new series where I'm documenting what it's really like building a fashion brand. I started my boutique based here in Liverpool, centred around a considered slow fashion approach to event wear for anyone who wants to feel like the main character in their own story. At its core, the brand focuses on bespoke, made-to-measure pieces. Designs created for moments that call for something truly special. Something memorable, something expressive, and something entirely your own. We've become widely known for our costumes, which we sell worldwide. Many inspired by some of the biggest pop stars in the world. Some of which I've even had the pleasure of working with behind the scenes on their wardrobe teams. That experience gave me a real insight into clothing that was designed for performance, clothing that wasn't just meant to be seen but to be felt. More recently, the boutique has evolved into occasion wear and even bridal, with an increasing number of clients coming to us for weddings, events and once-in-a-lifetime moments. But none of this started with a clear plan. I've always loved fashion, but not in a trend-led way, more of a form of expression. My amazing mum made dresses for me and my sisters when we were growing up. At the time, it wasn't about fashion as we see it now, it was practical. She didn't always have the means to buy us the latest trends, so she made things instead. What she made was even better. It was bespoke, it was thoughtful, and it was made with love. And that always stayed with me. As quite a shy child, I never felt the need to be the loudest one in the room. But I expressed myself through what I wore, and that has never gone away. Someone once said I hid behind my outfits, a comment that stayed with me for a long time. It didn't feel true, and it actually felt quite offensive. It was just my way of showing who I was without having to say it out loud, and I struggled to get that across. I was completely obsessed with pop stars growing up. The outfits, the music videos, the energy. Long before the days of the internet, I'd wait for the chart shows on the weekend or go round to my friend's house to watch music videos. I didn't just watch them, I studied them. The looks, the styling, the confidence, it all just came right through the screen. I didn't know it at the time, but years later I'd go on to work with wardrobe teams for some of these exact pop stars. Artists like Britney Spears, the Spice Girls, Elton John, Taylor Swift, Cher, the list goes on. Looking back, it makes complete sense why I create costumes and statement pieces. I've always been drawn into that world of performance, transformation and confidence. It's another reason why I love what I do. Whether it's a Halloween costume or a bespoke gown, it's about helping someone step into that version of themselves, even if it's just for one night. I didn't start this business with a 5-year plan. In fact, I had no plan at all. What I had was a side project, something I work on evenings and weekends alongside my day job. I'd done it for years while working in television. On paper, I'd been doing it for years, but I didn't really treat it like a real business. I underpriced my work, I didn't prioritise it, and I didn't fully believe in myself, and all of those things tie into each other. Eventually, I reached a point where I had to make a decision, stay where I was or take the leap. So I left my job. I had no savings, no clear plan, just a feeling I couldn't ignore anymore. There was a period after leaving where I felt completely frozen. The what have I done feeling kept me up at night. I'd made the decision, but I hadn't quite fully stepped into it yet. I did not feel like a business owner. I was just figuring it out as I went along. Then, when I eventually did start to find my feet, COVID happened. It felt like a constant testing, like someone somewhere was saying, are you really serious about this? But I stayed, and 8 years later, I'm still here. One of the most unexpected parts of my journey came just after I left TV. Just a week after leaving, an old friend of mine messaged me and told me there was an opportunity that she thought I'd be perfect for. They were looking for a wardrobe assistant to join Taylor Swift's team on the Reputation tour. My first instinct, imposter syndrome. I can't do that, I haven't got enough experience. I didn't even want to drive on the motorway to go. Looking back, this was all self-sabotage. I went anyway, the opportunity was too good to miss. That led to 2 years of gigs working across major tours and alongside top international artists. Something that had started as a bit of a safety net and a way to support myself financially ended up shaping my creative direction in a way I could never have planned. It felt like a reward for taking the leap, taking the risk and putting myself out there. When I first started, my idea was to make everything completely one of a kind. One-offs, unique, just one of each dress. But reality had different ideas. The demand just didn't seem to be there. I'd create a dress, meaning for it to be one-off, and people would request the same dress again and again. And at the time, I didn't want to refuse sales. People seeing other customers in that dress and they wanted the same, and the customer demand didn't align with my vision of everyone being completely unique. I realised this was a little bit too niche and the business had to evolve. I leaned into made to measure, although initially it intimidated me. I doubted whether I could fully bring someone else's vision to life. Was I thinking the same thing in my head as they were in theirs? It felt too much like guesswork and it terrified me. Now, it's one of the core parts of what I do. I think with time I've just built the confidence, the skill, the experience, and I know how to communicate that to the customer. The same thing happened with occasion wear. Something I once questioned, I now see a demand for. I used to worry, where are people going? Where will people even wear these dresses? But I adopted the build it and they will come mindset. I created the dress and the right aligned clients just began to find me. Now these pieces attract clients attending balls, galas, events I hadn't even considered before. Sometimes you can't rely on the demand, you have to create the demand. There are so many parts of running a business that people don't see. Quiet days in the boutique where I'll overthink, I'll feel lonely, I'll miss the support and community of a team. Admin, that never seems to end. And the mental weight of being responsible for everything. The biggest one has to be financial pressure. There's no guaranteed income, just good months and quieter ones. An example of this that really stands out for me is when the tariffs were introduced in the US, where the majority of my customers are, and orders almost dropped overnight. That was a difficult period. But like everything, it passed. The tariffs are still there, but the clients have come back. Being self-employed is a constant balance of self-trust and resilience. This year I started sharing weekly highlights and reality checks, small glimpses into what it's like running the boutique. These are only short snippets, 60 seconds long, short form content, and I just wanted to create a more considered long form version of this. Something slower, something more thoughtful, a space where I can actually talk. I don't have everything figured out, I'm still building this. And that's exactly why I want to document it, not from the perspective of someone who's made it, that many videos tend to be, from the perspective of someone who's still in it and you can come along for the journey. I don't think I'd actually change anything, because everything, even the mistakes or the negatives, have led me here. If I was starting again, I think I would go for it sooner, trust myself more, save money while I had the security of a steady income, pay attention to those early intuitive nudges, remind myself that I was always enough. And equally, there are things that I do exactly the same. Follow my passion, create for the love of it, take risks. As I say, every single one has led somewhere. Know my worth, and then add tax. I really do believe, little by little, day by day, what's meant for you will find its way. This is just the beginning of documenting my journey properly, and I think it's something I'll be really grateful to look back on. Thank you for watching Behind the Seams. My name is Heather, and this is The Life of O'Reilly.